One, just on that shouted question that he did respond to on the debt ceiling, having heard your response to questions that were answered already here today, you've had now Democrats saying that Republicans have, come to the table, might not like what they came to the table with, but it's time for the dialogue. How long can this posture from the president last before it feels like intellectually dishonest to say, they're holding the economy hostage and not raising the debt ceiling when they did pass a bill to raise the debt ceiling, and the argument's really about the budget cuts, the spending cuts, and not about whether or not the debt ceiling gets raised.
So I have to say, Jacqui, I disagree with the intellectually dishonest. That is certainly not how we see ourselves here, because we've been very, very clear that they need to deal with the debt ceiling. They need to not default.
Without conditions, unless it's a clean bill, they won't touch.
I've been very clear. Without conditions, we will not negotiate. There's nothing new there. We cannot be a deadbeat nation. We cannot be.
No meeting unless it's a clean debt bill.
We've been very clear about this. We've been very, very clear. I appreciate the merit of the question. Okay. Let me just take a question from the back.
You said at the very beginning we had to show you a plan, even though the Democrats have shown no plan. Not only did we show you a plan, we're the only ones to pass a plan. So I think it's up to you now. Whether the economy goes in any trouble, it's you, because the Republicans raised the debt limit. You have not. Neither has Schumer.
House Republicans passed legislation on the budget and debt limit. What is the White House's response to this? And do you feel like the ball is in your court now to start negotiations with House Republicans in the next move?
As the president said yesterday, he's happy to meet with Speaker McCarthy, but not on whether or not the debt limit gets extended. That is not negotiable, and we have been very clear about this for the past several months. We have not minced words here. We are not negotiating on this. We have been very clear. It is their constitutional duty to take action.
So another question.
The House have now passed a bill that would prevent a default. So at what point does it have to? That doesn't mean anything. It has to be a clean bill before the president will sit down and
we have said very clearly they need to deal with what's at stake here, what's at hand, which is our economy, which is making sure that we do not default. We have never been a deadbeat nation, and this is not the time to do that.
The nation's biggest business lobbying group, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, is now directly calling on the administration to sit down and negotiate on the debt limit, saying the administration should sit with congressional leaders, not delay to find a path to raise the debt ceiling and address runaway deficits. Will the president sit down with Speaker McCarthy, at least right now, on the budget, as he said he would yesterday?
So, been very clear. Been very, very clear on this. Again, not mincing words here. What we have seen, they've put together is an agenda, an extreme MAGA wish list. And the president has said really clearly, when it comes to the debt ceiling, they cannot allow this to happen. This is the Republicans in the House. They cannot allow this to happen. It is their constitutional duty to do so. I've gotten this question that you've asked me many different ways. I've answered it the same way. I don't have anything new to say. They should not allow any default.
Following up on the question you were asked about the Chamber of Commerce saying the administration should now meet with congressional leaders without delay, the Business Roundtable also said it hoped that the House passage will jumpstart bipartisan negotiations. So are you concerned that the business community will blame the president if he doesn't negotiate and the government defaults?
What I've been very clear about, and what we're concerned is about what House Republicans are doing. We've been very clear about this. This is not confusing. This should not be confusing for them.
Why are you confident the public will see it that way and lay the blame on them and not on the administration?
Well, we've been very clear about what the bill they put forward, that what's in that bill, right? We've talked about it numerous times. The president has talked about it. I talked about it, and we're going to continue to communicate with the American people.
Okay, and on the debt ceiling, this used to be a kind of theoretical parlor game thing, like what will happen if there's actually a debt cliff and you go over it. Now, it's actually getting closer now. And if the two sides stick to their guns, and the president clearly is sticking to his guns on this, if there's a default, is he gaming out what would be a plan B to actually stop the crisis? Is the $1 trillion coin, the 14th Amendment, are these things being teed up?
All of the things that you just listed, that's clearly something that the U.S. Treasury, right, is going to speak to. I'm not going to speak to from here on that. But look, this is a question for Congress. It is their I cannot say this enough from here, and I know you probably get tired of me saying this from here over and over again, but it is true. It is their constitutional duty to get this done.